What's up, everybody? This is AJ Slobig, the host of the Be Better podcast presented by Better Brands. And we are a marketing and social media agency that works with high quality commercial production to create marketing and business strategy for small businesses and churches all over the US, really trying to build better brands for more people. And so if this podcast helped you today, please visit our website at betterbrandscreative.com and see how you yourself not only deserve better, but can be better. So without further ado, let's get on into the podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to the Be Better podcast, a podcast where all of us here at Better Brands gather together to just look at other brands and see how they're doing well, how they're doing bad, as we bring our professional marketing advice to the market. So joining me today is our CEO and our Chief Production Officer, and we're here. It's going to be awesome. Say hello, everybody.
Hello. It's been a while. We wanted to do this for a long time, so I'm glad we're doing this.
Hello, everybody. Yes. So Ian Mate is our CEO, and then Jesse is our genius on the video stuff. He's our production officer. And so we want to start every single one of these podcasts off with the kind of vetting of brand. And Ian, I think you have one for us. Did you bring a product to show?
Yeah, I did. It's amazing though, because once you start getting into the marketing business, you see brands everywhere and you're like, oh man, they did a good job, or wow, that brand is not really good. So yes, I had some issues with gophers. So I had to go buy a gopher trap, and this is called the Gopher Hawk. Now, I think they did really well in the branding. I think they have a good, let's see, even talk about its organic use and humane kill. So that just kind of like, I've seen a lot of people nowadays, they want to make sure that whatever they use, it's humane. So it's kind of like breaking down objections already. So what do you guys think about this?
Ooh, talk about that. Breaking down objections. No, I see why you bought it. It's pretty well designed.
So I think now it does say it's been since 2010. So then it makes you feel like, hey, it hasn't just started. They've been using it for a couple of years now. So that's another, and it makes you figure out, okay, I'm a homeowner and it's professional. So it's professional home grade. So there's other stuff. You got the Instagram stuff. You got the QR code. Ooh. And then it just tells you how to use it. So I think it's easy, 3 easy steps. So it kind of gets you in there. Now
it's giving you information before you even buy it. It's like it's already giving you, like, equipping you to use the product without you having it yet.
Exactly. So I think it's awesome. What do you guys think about the colors? What do you think about the design of the box?
So for those of you listening on the podcast, Ian's showing a box containing a gopher killing device. It's got green colors. It has some information on the front, catch line, some accent colors. AJ, how would you describe this brand? What is this brand giving you visually, emotionally, however you would describe it?
The one thing which I would say is they might not have enough colors because they really only have that dark green and it's all green. And so I don't know. It's like I feel like the logo is almost blending in with the grass on the design, like, quite often. But everything has a nice gradient across it, which I think is like it's bringing it up a little bit, but it's also kind of making that, like, the lowercase words that say Gopher Hawk almost outdated a bit, which does say 2010, but almost makes you wonder if they've changed their branding since 2010.
That's a good point. Also here, as you can see, made in America. So, that's definitely a big value prop. Buying stuff from, like, so it's saying like it's if it's not going to break easily. If you buy stuff from other countries, I won't name the country I'm thinking about right now because it's overplayed, but and also has a lot of reviews and videos, so you can actually pull a QR code with your phone here, and then you can actually see things before you can buy it. So I got the website up. Do you guys want to just look at the website quickly?
To our listeners, we apologize, but it looks great. Watch us on YouTube. Okay, can you guys see the website? You got control over it, Ian.
Yeah, so as you can see, they got a video. I like this part because this is where the part where Jesse comes in. Let's just play a little snippet of this video. What do you think about this?
Gophers and moles can be a big problem. Trapping the pest cleanly and organically should be fast, simple, and effective. Introducing Gopher Hawk, a new approach in gopher trapping and removal. Effective and easy to use for everyone from beginners to professionals. Gopher Hawk can be placed in the ground vertically without the use of a shovel. As with any trapping system, start by probing the affected area to find the active gopher run. Use the wedge to open the probe's hole. The wedge compresses the soil outward instead of...
So what do you guys think?
Jesse, you're the video man.
So, I mean, I'm also considering their branding. It's a very practical brand that it's not a product that needs to make someone feel a certain way. For example, let's just take an obvious one, a car. A car has use, but it also has a feeling that it gives the person who's buying the car. So in every car commercial, you always see them selling a feeling, or moments or ideas, and they're all attached to the product. Where here you have a very practical product that is not, the branding is not setting out to appeal to you emotionally at all. It's just displaying, hey, we have a product that is easy to use, it works, and this is how you use it. And it makes me wonder maybe if it could be improved, appealing emotionally, but I'd say in this case, probably not, because you're dealing with people who have a problem and they just want to fix it, and they're going to do some research to find out what's the best solution to their problem. So I'd say it's doing well in its purpose that it's set out.
I like what you said, because I think we run into a lot of clients, and then they just want to make the video like really like overly the top, like add these crazy stunts, and just for maybe a product that isn't maybe, like you were saying, like for this one is straightforward. You don't really need to add that much extra stuff. You just need to go to the point, because it goes back to the content persona. Content persona is like someone that's working, wants to get rid of an issue. They want to make it fast and easy. So I like what you said.
Yeah, and this is by no stretch, this is not going to trend anywhere. This video is just going to be on their website. It's not going to go anywhere else. Maybe it'll play on an Ace Hardware screen. But something that I like about how we do branding is that we set out to make commercials that will grab attention and will trend. I'm thinking about brands like Dollar Shave Club. You have a simple problem and a solution, and they made it funny, and they recorded it in a way that portrayed their brand as being top of the line, high quality, because that's the way that most people, I think, would agree, want people to perceive their brand.
Now, I have a little secret to tell you guys about this brand and about this product. That the people maybe that create this product may not be really happy with me, but I tried it twice, and the two times that I tried it, the bottom part of the trap just like completely like, and I was following the instructions, I was doing everything, I even bought a replacement, and it just completely just like didn't work. Now, so this is and guess what I did? I had to go back and buy the regular trap, and that one worked. And so what do you guys think about that? Just, does branding make you want to upsell buy something that looks like a little bit more, and then you realize maybe the standard was actually the way to go, but you got not tricked, but you got kind of like, because it looks professional.
Marketing did its job.
The marketing did its job, because you're like, go for Hawk. Like that sounds like, dang, like these guys are, this will work really well. So I'm not saying that was my experience, and my work for other people really well. I'm just saying what happened to me.
That is interesting.
Something
so
that
their brand really did appeal to you, Ian, because you looked at a bunch of brands when you walked into, I'm assuming, Ace Hardware, and this one said Gopher Hawk, and you're like, yeah, I want to be like a hawk. I want to get this Gopher, and that would be an emotional appeal, and it plays into the point I made earlier.
Exactly. And I think it's so important naming your brand and what it will do. So, and I just like, yes, again, I just put a disclaimer out there. This product might work amazing. It just didn't work for me.
So I'm actually, now that we're kind of getting into the weeds on this, the thing that I'm thinking the most, that's not supposed to be a pun. Let's say it was an intentional pun. But actually, so the thing that I'm thinking about is that this product is like the only product in the company line. Do you know what I mean? And the way that they've positioned themselves, the way that they've chosen their brand, they didn't say like Pest Hawks. You know what I mean? They specifically said Gopher and Hawk. And so if this single product doesn't work, or it doesn't sell well, or even if it sells incredible, you would almost create this like brand loyalty if this one product for Gophers works. Like, oh, you as a consumer might be in the spot like, oh, I want to see what else this company has to offer. But because they've positioned themselves so, like, they have become so niche down, which for those of you not sure what that means like creating yourself to be so exclusive to a very specific market. They've accidentally become so niche that they can't expand what their brand does. And so, Ian, if you had a good experience and then you're trying to move forward, like, oh man, like I also have rats, you're not going to go get Rat Hawk because it doesn't exist. Exactly. But if they position themselves just a little bit broader, and they were a little less like, this is only for Gophers, we're great at doing Gophers, they might have been able to convince a loyal customer like you, like, now this is where you go for all of your pest control needs. But they didn't, because it's so niche down, and it's like one product instead of a brand. Exactly. That's like immediately what I saw in like the whole production of stuff.
But one thing that's really cool that they did was they used a issue, because I think this happens to a lot of people. You can open this. You see what happened to mine? Wow. It just completely.
Oh my goodness!
But that part comes off. That part comes off, and you can buy a replacement. So they know that the product, one part of it, might break. So they made a replacement part of it. And guess what? You as a consumer, if you really like it and you see the thing, and if it breaks once or twice, then you're like, oh, I just buy a replacement, and you pay another $15 for that replacement. And then the company's making a lot more money than just buying a one-use, thing that breaks. You can't use it again. You just take the parts off. Now, the only problem is I bought the replacement and I fixed it, and it did it right again.
It broke again.
so then I'm like, at that moment, I was just really frustrated with the Gophers, and I'm like, I'm going to use what I know in the past. So how would you rate this brand? What is your rating? Like 1 to 10 or something? Like, what would be your rating for this brand? Like 10 meaning like it was like incredible. This brand is doing amazing. 5 is like, it's okay. And maybe 2 or 1 is like, they really need help.
So if I didn't know that it was not working for you, like, let's just say that I didn't know that, I would actually probably give it a 6 or a 7. my only thing that I'm seeing in it is they've just niched down so far that they can't expand what's under the umbrella of their brand. They're just kind of stuck wherever they've put themselves. That's where they are for good. Yeah, that's my only criticism. We also haven't looked at their social media or any of that. But that's sort of my initials, maybe even down to a 5 because there's not room to grow the brand.
How about you, Jesse? What do you think?
So it is kind of relative to what is a 10 and what is a 1. And I think a 10, most people can agree that Apple is just like so good at their branding, everything they do. And I watch their videos, and their videos are so good that people on YouTube are recreating the videos to try to learn to be as good as Apple. So, yeah. And so we'll just say that Apple's a 10. And then you see Gopher Hawk come into the picture. And I think that creates a very different picture of what a 7 or a 6 would be in my mind. So this brand has really kind of constrained themselves, I think, to the Ace Hardware store, like I mentioned before. AJ, you mentioned that they can't sell anything else because they are Gopher Hawk, you know, and if they tried to sell something else, it would be just funny, you know, Rat Hawk, Grasshopper Hawk. I think that we could give them a 3 or a 4 because they are selling their product and they are getting people to choose them. But their brand doesn't have a whole lot of personality or a whole lot of breadth of what they do, like you said before.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if we go back to the website, I just want to talk about this. This is really important with brands. So we talked about Ace Hardware. And here it says Farm Supply, even Walmart, Do It Best. I think that's like also like a hardware store. They don't really have that. I don't know. Maybe they have it in California, but I haven't seen that. They have it that have Do It Best in internationally in the world, actually, in other countries. But what I wanted to say is they found a what we call a directory. So these companies are like Ace Hardware or these businesses are like directory. They get products. People like me that are annoyed by a problem go over there, look at the aisle for these products that they need. For example, for me it was the Gophers. I need some Gopher trap. Now, Gopher Hawk has positioned themselves in like a higher place than just your regular Gopher trap. And so they can charge more because you have like this really cool thing. So I believe that them using their finding a directory like Walmart, Ace Hardware has positioned where they can make a lot of money. So that's something to take in consideration.
I was going to mention some improvement that I see as video production in the area of video production would be for a practical tool like this. As I mentioned before with Dollar Shave Club, why not make it funny? You know, the production team that made this commercial, they just filmed different angles of the application and use of it, which is probably good for most people with Gopher problems. But if you want to take this brand to an elite level, you want to make people feel something when they watch your commercial. And I'm imagining something silly like a stuffed gopher coming out of the ground and saying something to the guy, or a cool shot of a tool going into the ground and then coming up and seeing a hole, and then maybe a guy's face coming in and be like, what? Just make it goofy. If you can make someone laugh, they're going to remember your commercial, and you've then added personality to your brand. and made yourself look like an elite brand.
Now let's.
And that actually.
Go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say that reminds me of like Geico, and it's like they have made insurance commercials funny. You know what I mean? Like we know a Geico commercial, you know the Geico cavemen, even though it's just cavemen. Like, but you know exactly what commercial pops on when it's a caveman talking about insurance. And it's like they've created something that's so boring. We've all done insurance, we've all worked through it. It is horrible experience to get insurance, but they have convinced us that it's somehow fun, that it's so easy a caveman can do it. And if it's not that, it's a little lizard talking to you. Like they've done such a good job of making something that's so monotonous and frustrating to appear like it's going to be fun. And so I totally relate with that, Jesse.
I was trying to look up how much. It doesn't show. They might be like a they might not be a parent company actually. So I couldn't find how much they made this year. So it might be a product. And if it's a product in a parent company, then like we had talked about, maybe niching down would be a good thing, but we don't know that. So
right.
No,
I think we're
actually,
talking specifically about brands here. And there's this one brand that we're analyzing. But of course, there are such things as parent companies that oversee many brands, and therefore they're the very best in their niches.
Yeah, and you see that with the My Pillow guy, right? Like he made the My Pillow, and now his brand is just the My brand. But it's like if he had nowhere to expand with My Pillow, so now he does like it's literally I think My Bed Sheets is one of them, and it just doesn't have that same ring to it that My Pillow did. But it's like you get so niche down and like so specific, especially on these smaller product companies. It's like you just start associating with the person who does it. I even think of like the OxyClean guy, but then it's like you have all these sub products. Like I don't even think I've ever used OxyClean, but I've used the OxyClean pen like 100 times. And so it's like being able to create that brand loyalty, like all the way up and down. I think that's where it is. And also to think about those, like I also think of whatever the Swift guy is. What is it called? The Flex Seal and Flex Tape. Like that guy, they've made something so absolutely practical, hilarious. And they just take this simple product and they blow it out of proportions to see how powerful it is. Instead of being so utilitarianism with the like way that you market, you could take it, bring a representative on, and now you have a powerful marketing tool.
That's a great example of taking a super practical tool and making it humorous. Like I think I've even seen a duct tape commercial where they have a duck in it because everyone when they're a kid thinks it's duct tape. like
totally. Yeah.
And you know that name is synonymous with fixing or building anything. You know, they say duct tape if it's not supposed to move, and WD-40 if it is.
All right, this has been super cool. What is like something that we could bring the lessons from Gopher Hawk and specifically bring them into the average listener? Like if someone has, I don't know, a coffee shop or something along the lines of that, what is something that we can bring the lessons from Gopher Hawk and bring over into other markets?
For sure.
Well, AJ, I think that you're very equipped to answer your own question. So I hope that we'll get around to you eventually.
I think Ian should go first. I was asking.
Well, I'll add a little thing. So now I think Jesse and you guys were talking about it. So a lot of these products, depending on the product, it can be serious or it can be funny. I feel like when people are having fun at what they do, selling their product, I think people want to get that, get the product, use it for whatever they need to do, but also like they want to buy from people that are, in the sense like having fun. I think that's a big thing. So I think that's why a lot of those companies that we already talked about, they tend to go to humor, because I think humor sells and having fun sells.
No, it's totally good.
Just to add to that real quick, it's the same with, well, consider personal branding. Nobody wants to do anything with you or spend time with you if you don't enjoy anything that you do. If you don't make them feel good, you're not going to get invited, and it's just a sad reality. There are, golden people out there who reach out to those that people don't want to be around, but people won't do that for your product, and they won't do that for your brand. So I think that we could expand on this by saying, like, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has an enormous brand for himself, because he made himself a funny family guy who's super strong, and we associate all those things with him. Why not do that for your brand? Why not make your brand something that people want to hang out with, something that makes them feel good to be around? Something that, my girlfriend and I relate to is just wanting to go to Target just for no reason. And I think a lot of people relate to that, actually, because you walk inside and it's immediately feels like family, and it feels like fun, and it makes consumerism seem like not such a bad thing anymore. And they support a bunch of things that make people feel good, like putting females in leadership positions and supporting pregnant moms and stuff like that. So I think it's really important that not just when you are presenting yourself as a brand, but also when you're interacting with people as a brand, to make them feel good throughout the process. Nobody likes a brand that says we're only here for the money, and when we're done, we're going to be gone because we just give you our service and it's over. You want to be something that leaves a lasting impression on someone. So I don't know, AJ, could you think of any examples for that?
I mean, I think about Starbucks and how Starbucks started as, like, they call it the second wave coffee. I'm a coffee guy, and I think every context, everything I ever say about lessons, it goes to coffee somehow. But I mean, they started second wave coffee, which is where you have all the frou-frou drinks and you're like making it sweet and tasty again. And at the beginning of like what they started of this whole new culture of coffee, of being creative with what you put next to it, everyone was excited to be a part of it. It wasn't just walking into a coffee shop. And it was like, you could always tell when you walk into a coffee shop, and you have to like judge, is this a first wave coffee shop, second wave, or third wave? And you know what you're looking for. And you can walk in and tell if it's an old fashioned guy that wants burnt beans for his coffee. Like, you just know when you walk to those coffee shops. And it's like, you walk, you're like, nope, this isn't for me. This guy's put mocha on the menu and he hates that he did. Like, and then where you walk into Starbucks and they make it exciting, and they make it something where you're like, dang, I want to try the new pumpkin spice latte mixture that they did this year. They give you something that they're excited to share with you, and then they have a culture that goes all the way across every single one of their stores. And that's actually what I think a lot of brands do well, is they train every branch of their store well. So like, you can have interaction with anybody in Starbucks and you get a pretty good representation of Starbucks as a whole. Or in Apple, when you go to a Genius Bar, you talk to one guy, you have a really good example of almost all the Apple stores just by going to one.
Just
and so
quick,
that type, yeah.
For AJ and Ian, someone who has a business or a brand that they're just starting, probably feel, man, like these big brands like Target and Starbucks, they have so much money, they're so expansive. I'm having a hard time relating to how I can apply these concepts to my brand, which is so small and just in the beginning stages. And what would you have to say to somebody who has that perspective?
Yeah, so one thing that's really awesome, and I wish I'd known this, is like there's like really there's like for business and also for marketing, there's like specific things you can do. And not everyone knows about it. They're like, if you want to call them tactics or whatever you want to call them. And there's specific like strategy points. There's a name, you can, so many names for this. But if you start realizing and learning from these points, then you can create your business. You can create your business from the ground up. And I think that's so important to let you know that you don't have to be perfect. Now, when we talk about Gopher Hawk, they might be making a lot of money. Their branding might not be perfect, but the things that they stepped out, they created something, and they can always rebrand. They can always, get better along the way. If you think the first round of creating your brand is going to be the best, then you're wrong and you won't start. So I think for anyone that's starting a service or starting a product, you need to start now and don't wait. Of course, you can be careful the way you start with not, you have to start. What I mean by careful is some people just put all this money towards like this product, not looking at the making research in the market. You want to like build something small at first to see if it works, and then you can build it big. I think always start from small to big. So,
So
yeah,
what I'm hearing from you, just in summary, is you want to start at the very least and be
yes,
okay with making mistakes, and start off with small things. Even start off with a small launch, a little release, and see how it works.
exactly. Like let's look at Krispy Kreme and In and Out. They're two different business models. In and Out is very strategic on how and where. That's why we've taken so long to take In and Out of California. Is because they started realizing, okay, we need to like start slow, and eventually we'll get there. And now they're all the way Colorado and maybe another country. I think I heard. So and look at Krispy Kreme. They just like, oh man, this is a craze. They blew up crazy everywhere. And then when it wasn't working, they just grew so quickly that they've had to close some stores. And it's unfortunate that that's happened. So I would start figure out a product, and we'll talk about value ladders next time. So I would stay tuned for this, and we'll bring in an example with a product with a good value ladder system. But you always want to start at the bottom of the value ladder and then make your way up.
Okay, AJ.
And actually, I was gonna
Uh,
say in that concept of starting, so there's this concept, like you said, Ian, where you get to start at the bottom of your foundation. So all of these principles are something you can apply where you start. And if you grow, like if you start, like, I don't know, if you get really big and then you realize you have all these problems in your foundation, you almost have to break the whole building down to go and fix it. So if we built this whole skyscraper and we found out that the foundation wasn't strong enough or wasn't sturdy enough, the only way to repair the foundation is either really slowly or you bring the whole thing down to repair the bones. And so in your companies that we're starting, like as small businesses and as churches, in our organizations, to get the concepts at the bottom, like right when you're starting, and then to build brick on top of that, now you're able to like build something strong from the beginning instead of scaling really really big and then realizing you have all these issues. It costs way more money, it takes way more time to repair something that's broken at the foundation than it does to start correctly and then move up slowly. And so that's
that's
kind of
such
the
a good
concept
point.
that I heard from you, Ian.
That's such a
So
good point.
if I
Um,
can add, go for Jesse, and then I'll,
okay. Yeah, you were saying, AJ, about how you can apply these concepts at the beginning. Um, and sorry, the point was just right here, and I gotta find it again real quick. Um, oh, people people think that you have to get big before you can apply these concepts, but it's actually better if you start off with a good idea of or with a better brand from the beginning, because when you have success and you haven't built a good brand, you're not going to endure in that success. It's going to be a spike and it's going to come back down. But if you have a good brand, you endure in your success. And I think it would be cool. But I know Ian has another point to bring up real quick, to talk about brands that did not start off with a solid foundation in their branding, got success, and then quickly collapsed, and then talk about a brand that has held on to that success.
Yeah, and I think that will be in our next podcast. We'll be talking about that point. Right now, if you're a business owner and you're come up with a great idea, like a product or service, and you really want to start well, I mean, right now we have this thing called using, it's called, I'm forgetting how
using products and services
as agents of transformation. Thank you. So it is the top of my head, and I was like, how can I explain it in a good way? So it actually goes through all the principles of building a brand. And so if you're really interested, you can reach out to us. It's a course actually that we put on, and it's an internal course. It's been an internal course for the people working with us. We're teaching them how to build a better brand, and it starts with these principles. So if you're interested, you can check us out, and there'll be a link. You can click to reach out to us, and then if you're interested to take this course.
And you can also see that course if you visit school.studioscenecreative.com. And so right there, you'll see we offer the first week free if you just want to get a taste of it all. And then you can get the full 6-week course with over 30 lessons. And it's all inclusive. You can pay over time or you can pay all up front. But it really is. I learned something. Ian is the one that was the instructor on that course, and I learned something. And I've been doing multimedia and marketing since high school, and I learned something taking the course because it was something internal for training in our company first. So these aren't just principles that we're making up. It's principles that here at Better Brands we're using and we're applying in our own company, and then using the same principles to market other people. We also offer free $250 value consultations. So if you have a brand or you have a company or something that you're trying to promote, honestly, like, we should be charging $500 for these consultations, but right now we're still offering them for free. And so we basically sit down for an hour on Zoom and we'll walk you just with free information on what we would recommend you to do if you have a business or service you want to scale. And so all of this is, we love teaching people and educating, which is partially why we started the Be Better podcast. It's because we want people to walk away feeling more equipped every time they have an interaction with us. Is there anything else you guys want to share?
Jesse mentioned something that was really cool. Is like, you can start somewhere and you just can get better and better and better. I mean, I feel every business, no matter what service or product you're selling, you can be better. There's no one that has landed, even Apple can get better and better and better. So I'm really excited about this podcast, because we can talk about how we are getting better, how we can help you get better, and how other people are already doing really awesome work.
I'd like to mirror that statement. I am super excited to talk about the production principles that go into building a better brand. And I would like to reiterate what AJ mentioned about our $250 free consultation. It's $250 value. I'd say jump on that as soon as you can. Even if you're listening to this podcast in the far future, maybe you're listening way down the line and you just started episode 1. Jump on that as soon as possible, because we're not going to be able to offer that forever. And it's a really good opportunity for you to grow as we grow. And we just so value into you as we continue in our own growth.
Anyway, thanks guys for being on the podcast today. This is super exciting. My name's AJ Slowbig. That's Ian Mehta. That's Jesse Hovey. We're the 3 crazy guys that started Better Brands. So if you ever want anything and you need help with marketing your company, we're here for you. You could visit us at our website at betterbrandscreative.com, and you can also see our production side of things at studioscenecreative.com. So all those links will be on our bio on YouTube, and then you could also find all the information to us on our website. So we're so excited, and just thanks for tuning in. We're super excited for this podcast, and I think we all share that. So thanks guys for joining us today. Once again, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We're so excited for next week's episode. Please stay tuned and subscribe to the podcast. It really helps us out, and we're really hoping that it helps you out too. So if for any more information about our company, what we do, who we are, please remember to visit www.betterbrandscreative.com. And if you're interested in our classes, please visit school.studioscenecreative.com. We're so excited you're here. See you next week.